You played with the Jazz, OKC, Knicks, Portland, now Celtics.
It's a cold business, NBA.
What is it with you and LeBron, though? And you call him Hitler. That's not like a regular thing to call somebody.
I don't care if you're like a king or princess, queen, whatever you are. I'm just going to come after you, and I'm not going to be scared.
Do you think the game is more exciting today or 10 years ago?
Now, you breathe on somebody, you get $25,000 fine.
Why is America playing the safe role with Turkey? What is the biggest concern America has with Turkey?
It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter what your religion is. The most important thing in life is leave your differences on the table and try and find what we have in common. Not many countries have what this country has.
No doubt about it. You know the whole Armenian Genocide. What are your thoughts as a history of Armenian Genocide?
I'm for the truth. It doesn't matter who it's for or against. I want to know what happened. And if we are wrong, I'll just say it. Hey, we are wrong.
Yeah.
And I will say it publicly. I'm actually thinking about getting in American politics one day.
Unbelievable. I totally see it.
30 seconds.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close, I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving values contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
Today I have a special guest with me, Enes Kanter, who was in town. We told him, can you come by and visit? Let's sit down and talk. We've been trying to make this work. And finally, we were able to make it work. For some of you that don't know who he is, he plays for the Celtics currently. One of the most, how do I put it, guys who knows how to get under the skin of other players in the NBA. Fun to watch. If you don't know a fun fact, 2011 draft pick. I think he was first round. Third pick, ahead of Tristan Thompson, ahead of Klay Thompson, and today he's playing for the Celtics. Enes, brother, thank you for coming out, man. Appreciate you for making the time. So, Celtics, one of the first questions I had for you, man. I mean, I'm a both a Kemba fan, and I'm also a fan of Lillard. I think both of them are leaders.
Yes.
What's the biggest difference between these two guys?
Ooh, I will just say this, both guys, what make him so special is, they make themselves better and they make everybody else better around him. I feel like that's what they make him really special. And I was just like, it's just very blessed to play future Hall of Famers like Damian Lillard and Kemba Walker. And before I met Kemba, obviously he was in my draft class, and I knew he was like a nightmare to guard. But I didn't know he was like this down-to-earth, humble guy, good leader. And he always laughed and always smiled and always bringing positive energy, good locker room guy. So I'm like, wow, that's very special.
Kemba is, Walker is.
Kemba, oh yeah.
Which one is the style more, hey guys, let's come together, you can do better, Enes, you can do better, hey guys, let's pull this. Is it that, or is it also a little bit of challenging, hey, what can I do to help you work on your free throw? What can I do to help you? Is it like a challenging type of leader, or is it just a locker room guy bringing them together? What's the difference between the two?
They're both very similar players, very, very similar players. They're both trying to help. They challenge me to be, obviously they know I'm a really good offensive player, but they both were challenging me to be a really good defensive player. They both feel like, hey, we know you can score the ball, we can rebound the ball, but to get next level, we need to be good on defensively. So that's why they both challenge me. So very, very similar players.
Similar players.
Very similar players, yeah.
And again, they're both incredible to watch. And anytime you're playing, you're entertaining to watch, man. You're going to do your fight, but at the same time, you got that, you cut your eyes, you're fighting the guys, you're going after them. It doesn't matter. They're trying to clean the blood off your hand, you're pushing the guy's hand.
Yep.
So what is it with you and LeBron, though, man? It's like when you and LeBron are on, you're like, somehow, some way, I don't know what
fight.
You do. What is it with the two personalities?
Obviously, I respect the guy a lot, man. Obviously, he's obviously one of the best player to ever play this game, But obviously, it's like I will do anything to win that game. Obviously, on the court, you just gotta go out there and fight. But off the court, obviously, you gotta try to get under the skin, and it's tough. He's mentally so strong, but I do everything. I fight, I trash talk, I push him, I try to fight with him, but he just keep focusing on his team. But it's always a good challenge, because when I done with the career, I'm gonna be like, hey man, I gotta I got in a fight with LeBron, or I got played against him, or I won, or we lost, whatever. So it's definitely a blessing to have a guy like represent NBA like that.
Do you go after him because to you it's kind of like no one intimidates you because of where you? I'm from Iran. You're from Turkey.
Okay,
Obviously.
yeah.
We have a lot of turmoil where we raised,
yeah.
so not a lot scares you, and you kind of want to go after the king. Is that
yeah,
because everybody's afraid of him? He's like the
I'm not even scared of a dictators, man. So I'm like, as a king in NBA, whatever, I don't really care if you're like, I've been called them lies. Like, I don't care if you're like a king or princess, queen, whatever you are. I'm just gonna come after you, and I'm not gonna be scared.
So if you're not afraid of a dictator, you're not going to be afraid of a king.
There you go.
Makes a
You
lot of
got
sense.
it.
So, question for you: the part about LeBron that's most impressive, the way he's been handling a lot of stuff lately, it's incredible. How I see how this guy's handling stuff with Bronny, with his team, with leadership, with the way he's handling certain issues with the NBA. He's developed into a whole other person. The part that's very impressive. This is a big guy. He goes through. He's been hit hard. He gets fouled hard. Because he's got muscle. So a lot of times he's probably hit even harder than we even see it. But because he can't move. Shaq lost, and he would, if somebody bullied him, his first season I watched Shaq play one time, he played Pistons. And he went in, and Alvin Robertson was a guy at that time, was pulling him down. And Alvin Robertson kind of goes up to him and he pushes Shaq, and Shaq just punched him in the face. This was the first season, like 10, 20 games into the season. So then you see Kobe comes in, and Kobe got into a fight with Miller, with Anthony, with the other guy from the Knicks. What was his name? All these guys that he got into fights with, right? You got Bird got into fights. All of these guys, like, how has LeBron never got into a fist fight with anybody in the league? I don't understand that part.
Well, I think the one thing NBA changed, like a lot of rules. Like before then, you get in a fist fight, you only get like ejected in that game and that's it. But now you breathe on somebody, you get $25,000 fine, and nobody wants that. You push somebody.
Not even LeBron?
I mean, nah, they just don't want to. They just don't want that. Of course, LeBron, people loves him, and they just don't want to have that reputation, just for fighting against LeBron. They just don't want that, I think.
I also don't think it's his personality. I think he's a pretty chill guy.
Yeah,
I think he's a locker room guy. When I see him as a guy that glues, that brings everybody together. See, to see Dwight Howard play the way he's playing right, I've not seen Dwight Howard this happy. I don't know if I've ever seen Dwight Howard this happy. And I think a lot of that has to do with LeBron's leadership. A question for you for the game today. Do you think the game is more exciting today or 10 years ago, 20 years ago? It's regular season, not playoffs.
I'm trying to think. Well, I think right now NBA is just, like I said, you breathe on the guy, they call a foul now. I feel like back then it was just more physical, and you'll see that there was like more back-to-basket players and but now it's all about shooting threes, no contact, just pick and pop, shoot threes. I feel like back in the day it was more excited.
More exciting back in the days?
I think so.
So I have a friend of mine who's in New York. He's in Jersey. His name is Gerard.
Okay.
I said, what do you think about the NBA right now? And he says, I don't think the season is that exciting today. I said, tell me why. He says, because everybody's shooting threes, 43s, 53s a game. He says, I think it'd be more exciting if they made the three, like they took it back, 4 feet, 5 feet, and so they added 4-pointer, and then half court. And then he said, if they took a dunk to 3 points instead of 2 points. He said if they made a dunk 3 points instead of 2 points, then they're going to make the big guy, the game would change to be a big guy, because now if you got a Shaq 10 dunks in a game, that's 30 points. So it would increase the level of wanting to play defense against the three. What do you think about that idea?
That is
Make
very
me think
interesting.
about it.
That is very interesting. I would love it. I would love it, because my game has always been like, just back to basket, go inside, rebounds, putbacks, and post up games.
You got a 19-footer as well. You can shoot the shot.
I do, but now everybody's like, you gotta be able to shoot the three. But like if I'm shooting the three, who's gonna get offensive rebounds? You know what I mean? So it's like, but what he said is very interesting. I would love it.
They made the dunk 3 points.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that would be. I actually went to the Atlanta Hawks facility. We practiced there as a team last year, and I think they have a 4-pointer, just because of Trae Young. So they put in a practice facility, they put a 4-pointer. I asked them, what is this? This 4-pointer for Trae Young. I'm like, wow, this is interesting.
It would change the game. I just think, when he said that to me, I said, you know what? I think it's a creative idea. I don't know if they would do it, but Silver seems a little bit creative. That he may do it, but who knows? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Being in the NBA, you played with the Jazz, you played with OKC. Knicks, Portland, now Celtics. How do you handle the fact that the league is a trade league where you're going?
Ooh.
How do you handle that aspect? Because for me, when we have conversations, I always say if I'm an NBA player, Major League Baseball player, or just somebody that's playing professional sports, if I'm in Hollywood, if I'm a singer, marriage and doing that while I'm playing, I don't know about
Yeah,
it.
it's tough.
And in sports, you're moving if
Oh
you're
my
being
God,
traded.
yes.
So how do you handle
Too
that?
much. Well, I mean, one thing I learned to never buy a house because you get
Never buy a house.
never buy a house. You get traded. It's like, I mean, it's so tough because like I see like I'm single, I don't have it. It's only me, but like I see like some of my players, teammates have like, they have kids going to school, they have wives having their jobs, and then this guy's getting traded. So you have to move everybody. You have to get the kids out of the school. They don't want that. You have to, they take the, but if they want to stay in that city, they can. But it's just tough, very hard transition. But it's just a cold business, man. It's a cold business, NBA. But you just gotta stick with it. And I see I see this guy had 8 different teams in 9 years. I'm like, this is wild. His name was Steve Novak.
Novak.
Steve
Had 8
Novak,
different
yeah.
teams in 9
I
years.
think I said something like that, something crazy.
Didn't he play for the Celtics one time or something?
Not for, he played for the
Was he like
Knicks
a power
and Utah.
forward guy?
He's like a 3-4. He plays
He was a
more
3-4, yeah. Yeah, that's the part about the game. You look at it.
God.
But when I look at you, man, you have a smile on your face all the time.
Yep.
You're being interviewed. It doesn't matter what you're talking about.
Right,
You're always-
right.
Obviously, at the end of the E60 documentary when they did on
Oh,
you, at
yeah,
the
I
end, you're
remember.
very serious, but you
Yeah.
got a lighthearted side of you that probably helps you handle issues like this when it comes up.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like if you lose smile, you lose hope. So you always have to be smile, always have to be positive. You cannot show your enemies any weaknesses, you just have to be, I feel like God blessed me with so much, on and off the court, and I cannot be down or on my teammates or any of my friends outside of basketball. So I always have to smile on my face and just go out there and just entertain people.
Do you feel like you are the luckiest man alive to live in America and play basketball? Do you feel that way yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Okay.
Especially being in this situation, being America, because not many countries have what this country has.
No doubt about it. I agree.
So you have freedom in here. You play basketball. You earn your respect. You earn your money. So it's a good situation to be in. So I always try to tell my teammates, or whenever I go to a school or a basketball camp to talk to the kids, I'm like, you guys are blessed to be in this situation. Don't take it for granted.
I agree. But transition with that into some of the political side, because when I read your story and I hear your story, I relate to it. I lived in Iran 10 years, and when Khomeini died, Iran was a mess. And I was born October 1878, 3 months before the Shah was in exile.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of similarities
Yeah.
with what's going on with the history there. So Khomeini dies, 6 weeks later we escape, we go to Germany, we seek asylum.
Okay.
And then from Germany, we wait for our green card. Then I get the green card, I
Yep.
come out here, and then I wanted to become a U.S. citizen, so I joined the Army. And in June of '99, I got out of the Army 2 months early to go swear in
Yeah,
LA,
yeah.
June 21st. I became a U.S. citizen. So I remember the feeling of what it was like to become a citizen,
Okay.
especially for you. Now, the other part that we have in common is you're very vocal. I'm pretty vocal as well. Some of the things that I talk about where my investors sometimes say, I don't know if you want to talk about that. You
Right.
shouldn't be talking about this. You shouldn't talk about this. How is it you're so comfortable talking about topics that most people are uncomfortable with?
Well, because I know this matters more than basketball. This matters more than this is bigger than my career, basketball, NBA, and everything I'm doing. Because I am blessed because God gave me this platform. And I'm trying to use this platform to be voice of all those innocent people who don't have one back in Turkey. And so I'm like, I remember, man, I get this question a lot, am I crazy? Like this 3 words is still comes to my mind all the time. My teammates, coaches, the fans, everybody asks me this question because they're like, you're an NBA player, just keep your mouth shut, make your millions, just be happy and live a happy life. Like, what are you doing with all this like dramas and all these threats and all that? But they don't understand. These conversations, like I said again, is way bigger than everything I'm doing. I understand my family's still back in Turkey, but my family is just one. There are 1,000 families out there and they're suffering. So I cannot just be worried about my family or my career or my endorsement deals, whatever, and not talk about these issues.
How do you, in your own mind, process that, when you come out and you call the the president, the prime minister there, Hitler. You're doing this when you were in Romania. I think you were in Romania at the airport when you were stuck there because they revoked. You were going to Indonesia. Your friend told you got to leave Indonesia. Then you go to Romania. You go to Singapore.
Yeah.
And then from Singapore to Romania. Then you're stuck there. You do the live. Then you go to London. And then you finally make it to US 48 hours later. And you did that live. And you call him Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like a regular thing to call somebody.
So, I mean, if you look at what's happened in Turkey, first of all, in Indonesia, the reason I left, it all started because they tried to kidnap me in Indonesia. So the Turkish government working with some other countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Bosnia, to kidnap people there and send it to Turkey. So when I had a basketball clinic in school in Indonesia, and they sent army and intelligence service to come and talk to me. That's what they said. So luckily we learned about that early and we left the country, and I went to Romania. They revoked my passport and everything. But people know my story because I play in NBA, right? But there are 1,000 stories out there is way worse than mine, because you guys know my story because I have this huge platform. But if you look at what's happening in Turkey, especially after I'll say fake coup attempt.
Was that fake what?
Fake coup attempt.
Yes.
Fake coup attempt. Turkey is the #1 country in the world that put most journalists in jail, over 300, and there are 17,000 innocent women are in jail right now, and over almost 1,000 babies in the jail with their mother growing up in jails. There's lots of reports. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights Foundation are saying that people are getting kidnapped, people are getting tortured in jail, people are getting raped in jail. So I'm trying to tell this world that, like I said again, you guys know my story, but this is what's happened over there.
Yeah, and why are they having such a challenging time? Like when I look at politically right now, you hear what they're saying. But Obama in 2006, right after the coup that happened, I think July 15th, 2016.
July 16, July 15, 2016.
And then the next day, Mr. Gulen got and told the fact that, we didn't know this was happening. But when he said that, when the coup took place, 249 lives, people died, all these things, is Barack Obama defended when he talked to Erdogan, saying that nothing was really happening. And then Trump is also trying to make so it's not a Democratic thing or Republican thing. Why is America playing the safe role with Turkey? What is the biggest concern America has with Turkey?
So let me tell you this. Not many people knows this, but when the coup attempt happened, that night I was with Mr. Gulen. And I saw what Mr. Gulen did with my own eyes. He sit on his chair and pray for his country. He did not look like he was orchestrating a coup attempt, because he was just sitting on his chair, and then people, I told this to some other people, but he cried that night because over 200 people died. So, if you if you want to understand who did the coup attempt, you have to look at the benefits of coup attempt. And like I said again, there's been lots of, media outlets shut down, and after that coup attempt, he wanted to be the one-man show. So I don't understand what America or Trump or Obama, what I was trying to do, but I know what I know. I saw with my own eyes what this movement, what Mr. Gulen was doing.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is, if your movement is where it's at, why isn't, is there any involvement with U.S. to want to defend Mr. Gulen? Because in January earlier this year, they were talking about possibly extraditing Mr. Gulen out of, I think he's staying somewhere in Pennsylvania, right? And to extradite him back over there because of negotiations with Erdogan and everything that's taking place here. Why are so many people concerned about Mr. Gulen? Because I see both sides, okay? Because for me, when I lived in Iran, what I'm trying to figure out is the following. So I got 3 characters for myself. You have the Shah, okay? You have Khomeini, okay? And then you have a bit of possibly Saddam Hussein or Mossadegh.
Okay.
And this is kind of how I see it.
Right.
Saddam possibly compared to a Erdogan. Okay. Let's just say those two are together.
All right.
Okay. Let's say the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who made Iran Americanized. He brought education, gave more power to women, freedom, all this other stuff. Let's put him to Ataturk, right?
Okay.
Am I saying it
Exactly.
right? His
Yep,
name?
Ataturk, yep.
Which is, he's a very
Secular,
well-respected,
yep, very, very
secular.
Yep.
He kind of made a little bit more open, freedom.
Yep.
People liked when he was there. And relationships got better because, Turkey is like the bridge between Asia and Europe, right? And then, who is Mr. Gulen? Because Mr. Gulen, when you really dig deep and look at him, he's a brilliant guy. In the 60s, he started his movement, and his messaging was different, very westernized. Hey, go out there and make your money. Let's go become successful. Let's go build businesses. And then he doesn't take the mosque route, he takes the education route.
Yep.
When you're with him, what vision is he casting to you?
So, like you said, it is all about educating people, because instead of going out there and building mosques, he believed that we need to go out there and build more schools. We need to educate people more, especially young generation, because he believes we have lots of issues going on in our century because of uneducated people. And his thinking was, if we go out there, not just in Turkey, now this movement have schools over 170 countries in the world, and these schools for not just for Muslims. You can be, Jewish. You can be Catholic. You can believe in God. You don't believe in God. You can be Christian. You can go to these schools and learn about math and science. So when I was with him, of course, I asked him questions and stuff, and he gave me his stuff. But I asked him, and he told me, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter what your religion is. The most important thing in life is leave your differences on the table and trying to find what we have in common. And he said, this world is what we have. We don't have another planet to go or live. So let's make this world better together. So that's why my thing was, so every time I go out there, my thing was, how can we educate people? How can we educate young generations so they can make their own decision, and that decision will be right.
What's his vision, though? What's he trying to accomplish? Because, you see his educational the schools. It's obviously Erdogan shut down all his schools, all the 43, whoever that was linked to him, whether it was the newspaper, the main newspaper, it was the media outlets, they
hospitals.
Shut down everything. They took him to prison. A lot of military, a lot of doctors, a lot of educators, a lot of nurses, a lot of them. But when they went and looked at I think 60 Minutes in 2012 or 2013 went and investigated the schooling.
Yep.
The numbers were great, okay? The level of education was great, extremely creative. The kids were happy. The things they were creating was impressive. And in America, I don't know exactly how many campuses and how many states, but at that time it was 127 in 30 states, some number like that. But why are people worried about him? I guess my biggest thing is, what is really his vision? What's he trying to accomplish?
What he's trying to accomplish is, like I said again, just educate people and create a younger generation who can make their own choices.
It's got to be a stepping stone to something, right? What is the vision long term?
The vision, that's the vision. Just how can we educate our young generation so they can have a better future, they can make the right decisions, and just have and respect each other. And those people, every time I see people who's in this moment is open to dialogue. How can we respect other religions? How can we respect other cultures and learn from each other?
Are you familiar with Scientology, the Church of Scientology?
No, I never heard that.
Are you familiar with Baha'i, the religion of Baha'i?
I heard about that a little bit, yeah.
So Baha'i is a denomination of a Muslim. It's kind of like Mormonism or Jehovah.
I think I had a friend, yeah.
My sister married a Baha'i family, very nice people, good people. But in the Muslim community, when the Khomeini went to Iran, he didn't like Baha'i. Anybody that was Baha'i, it was the same situation as Erdogan, very similar situation. So I don't, when I look at Mr. Gulen, what he's doing, I see an element of Baha'i and I see an element of Scientology, where in 2002, I was curious about religion. I was an atheist 25 years of my life. My family grew up Christian. I'm in Iran. People are getting bombed. I don't believe in God. I just don't believe it's possible. So I went and visited Scientology churches all the time. I would go in and they would say, you can be Christian, you can be part of this. You can be Catholic, you can be part of this. This is not about your religion. This is about us having common understanding. It's a system, it's this, it's that. Would you say it's a similar model like that, where it's not necessarily, because you guys don't pray, you're allowed to drink. You can't pray, but it's not something that's big on prayer, right? It's a little bit more flexible than a typical religion you would think. Would you agree with that statement?
I wouldn't say I don't say it's flexible. I mean, no. The Mr. Gulen himself is a very religious guy. He prays 5 times a day. He does not drink. Neither his followers don't drink. They follow 5 times a day. But they are thinking, we can, there is this thing people always say, you cannot mix religion with science. Mm-hmm. He wants to mix science with religion and understanding, just because, like I said again, he believes in math and science. And instead of going out there and building mosques, he's thinking like, hey, people are already in the mosque and praying. Let's educate people.
Yeah. You see, from my standpoint, when I lived in Iran, my mother's side wanted Khomeini to come. And Khomeini had a lot of similarities to Mr. Gulen, a lot, because he was a prophet, he was an imam, he was like seen as a calm man, loving man, caring man. So a lot of Iranians were like, yes, look at the Shah, all he has is all this oil money, we should bring Khomeini here. Then Khomeini comes, things change very quickly. When you see some of his interviews from years ago, he's a pretty, he would be a visionary guy. He sounds like a pretty strategic, he doesn't seem like a lightweight guy that's just, there seems to be a vision behind it. You can't build this kind of an empire without a vision at the end of it.
Like I said again, man, I think just big people, like especially like the who this movement's followers, all they care about our future. All they care about how can we build our future better together.
His vision, his following?
His followers. How can we build our future better together?
How can we build our future together? Yep. But where are we going? Because I'll read this to you. So I just kind of read what I saw. Here's one thing he says, Mr. Gulen said this, like, you must move within the arteries of the system without anyone noticing your existence until you reach all the power centers. You must wait until a time where you have all the state power and you have brought to your side all the power of constitutional institutions in Turkey, right? Now, I get his point, fully get it, meaning, okay, that sounds like somebody that's a true believer. He doesn't sound like somebody that is not a true believer in his cause. But that also sounds like a man with a vision. Like, he's not happy about the way Erdogan's running it. They obviously had a big falling out together.
Yeah, for sure. He's not happy with how Erdogan running the country.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it right now, I mean, that people are not happy, economy's going down, and then there's been lots of, I don't know if you heard a lot of terrorist attacks and stuff.
Of course.
I mean, of course, what Turkey is going right now is a big mess. And of course, he doesn't want his country to go through that kind of stuff, Mr. Gulen. So that's why I'm saying, that's what he's saying. If we build our future, if we build our young generation, we can have a better future and we can have a better country in the future.
I get that. So I sat down with Reza Pahlavi's son. Okay? We sat down together in Washington, D.C. I had a meeting with him and with Ted Cruz. So I went and sat down with him and we talked about Iran. Okay? Possibility of separate meetings, possibility of what can happen for Iran to be free. Look, you told me you love your country, not the government. I love Iran, obviously not the government.
Okay.
I'd love to take my family in Iran, show it to them, Khiyaban Hojjat,
sure.
where I grew up. I'd love to do that. I'm sure you're missing your family. At the end of the day, if you cut me right here, it's 4 things I bleed. I bleed Assyrian, it's my dad. I bleed Armenian, it's my mom. I bleed Iran, it's where I was born. I bleed America because this place gave me an opportunity. I can't help myself. Those 4 things matter to me a lot. It's very obvious you love Turkey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No question about it.
Because like when I talk about these issues, people thinking like, man, I don't like my country. No, that people are wrong. I love my country.
Farthest from that.
I love my flag. That's why I'm trying to fight for my country.
I get that. I fully believe that. But is your ideal vision, here's a question like an ideal vision. What an ideal vision would be for there to be a coup, to be a fall, because in Iran there has to be one. They're trying right now in Iran. You saw 3 weeks ago, I don't know if you followed it on, 3 weeks ago, 400 people were killed in Iran.
Wow.
Like the younger generation tried to do a revolution happen in Iran. I got messages, all this stuff that comes because through VPN they can message you to be able to have access to you. But the part with you is, do you think an ideal situation for Turkey would be if there is a coup and then Mr. Gulen goes back and helps run the country? You think that would be an ideal situation?
Mr. Gulen don't want to run the country.
100%.
100%. He has nothing. He doesn't want to get into politics, and he said there is nothing will good come with coup attempt, because I mean all those innocent people are dying. So he doesn't want that.
So he wasn't behind the coup.
He was not.
100%.
100%.
So he had no idea what was going to take place.
No, because I was with that guy all night, so he had no idea. Even
it was
like
purely incidental. You were with him.
Yep. Because I remember going to I was with him, and one of his students, one of his followers, brought the news to him, and he was shocked, and he couldn't believe it. And then he followed the news, and then when he learned that around over 200 people died, he started crying. So he had no idea that there was going to be a coup attempt, and he does not want. I mean, he's an 80-year-old sick man, and he does not want to get in the country and run the country. He just wants peace, freedom, and democracy in the country. That's all he wants.
Why did him and Erdogan have a falling out?
I mean, what do you mean?
Remember that when they were initially they were allies.
I wouldn't call them an ally. There was only 2 times they were seen together. Only 2 times they were seen together. One of them was in a football match, soccer match, and one of them is one of the meetings. And I was watching one of his interviews. The reporter asked him the same question, and he said, "We're never allies." So I don't believe they were ever allies.
Who said they were never allies?
Mr. Gulen himself.
Got it. How bad can the conditions get if America leaves Turkey the way it is with the way Erdogan's running it? How bad could it be?
Very bad. I mean, because right now, I mean, America has power to put sanctions on Turkey and maybe hoping to change some kind of stuff, something. And but if not, I feel like Erdogan will even destroy the country more.
How do you think President Trump's handling it right now? I mean, I'm sure you read the letter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you see the letter he wrote to?
Yes, I did.
What did you think about the letter when you read it? Maury, can you grab a copy I put on my desk over there? What'd you think about it? Because it comes around pretty.
There was few of them. So you're talking about the
October 9th.
One that Trump was insulting Erdogan?
Don't be a fool. Stop playing like a tough guy, etc., etc.
No. I believe that. I mean, because he is trying to act like a tough guy.
He is trying to act. Erdogan's trying to act like
I feel like
guy.
Erdogan, because when he comes to America, he wants to be like a good person. He wants to be a good people to all Americans. But when he goes back to his country, he talks badly about America. And there's been lots of, I don't have it with me right now, but I can show you many of them that he talks badly about. Not just America, a lot of countries.
That's what it was with us in Iran. When we lived in Iran, you would see Marg Bad America, death upon America nonstop, right? But when it comes down to negotiation,
exactly.
Hey, and then there's the death.
I remember watching. There's been the people are burning American flags in Turkey.
I remember
that is wrong. And it's you don't come here and play at one game and you go back to your country to be another man. It's just not cool.
So you like the way he's going right now, President Trump? You would like him to, in your ideal situation, put more sanctions. Go through that, because sanctions are going to hurt the economy. It's going to put them in shambles.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know that.
Iran is in a terrible place right now financially.
I know that, but I think till we get a freedom and democracy, I think America have enough power to just change everything. And if you put sanctions on him, his family, and his wealth, then I think it's going to shake the whole Erdogan's regime.
And if he does that, how do you worry about your dad? It's like, what if they retaliate to you and they go that route? Is it still the fact that the vision is that important that you have to go look at the bigger picture of what could happen to Turkey long term?
The bigger picture we want is freedom and democracy. So that's why, if we we don't want, of course, I don't want anything to happen to my country, but if people are not happy, if all these, there's been lots of people are dying and there's been a lot of terrorist attacks and Turkey is involved in, happening with some of the terrorist groups, then you know what? I think we got to put some sanctions on.
It'll change the game if they do that.
I think so.
Final thoughts, Armenian Genocide. When the Armenian Genocide was announced, I know you and Ilhan, you guys had a bit of a falling out when she said what she said and she voted, I think, present. Your thoughts you're from Turkey, okay? My mother's Armenian, dad's Assyrian. You know the whole Armenian genocide. What are your thoughts as a history of Armenian genocide?
Let me tell you this. I think Ilhan Omar was the only person who did not sign the Armenian genocide. It's just sad. I'll just say that. And I think if you're asking about Armenian genocide, I am not expert on that, but I heard from the many people that it did happen.
Got it. So you heard from a lot of people that it did happen.
I have lots of friends that, I have actually one of my best friends from Armenia. And one of my best friends from Armenia.
You look Armenian. We look like we could be related. We're Turkish.
I remember one of my assistant coach was Armenian. So I'm whenever I talk to him, I'm like, I get you guys. I know how you guys feeling. So whenever I see him, I try to sit down and talk to him, and I'm always asking him, like, can you explain me the question, please? Can you explain me the situation, please, so I can have a better understanding of what's going on? Because I'm not that type of guy. I'm not a closed-minded guy. I'm an open-minded guy. I want to know what happened, and if we are wrong, I'll just say it. Hey, we are wrong, and I will say it publicly. Because I don't care about, I'm for the truth. It doesn't matter who it's for or against. So if it's against Turkey, I'll say it. Hey, it happened. But before I say it, I really need to work on it and see.
Do your own research on it?
I need to more, especially after what Trump said. I don't know if you read that what Trump said about the Armenian Genocide. It was just on the news today.
You talking about the Senate bill being passed?
No. Actually, Trump just said today that Armenian genocide did not happen.
Trump said it today.
I think Trump said it today. It was a
Armenian genocide didn't happen.
Did not happen.
Really?
We can go to on our Twitter right now, and it was actually trending. And if you put on, we can look at it right now.
Trump refuses to back recognition of Armenian genocide after Erdogan's threat.
There you go.
So I think Erdogan is using that as a pure negotiation to say, if you recognize it, I'm not doing nothing with you. Wow, it's gotten up to that. So, because Congress said yes, Senate said yes, now
Senate
it's on Trump?
said yes, yep.
Wow, that's pretty ugly if it got to that situation, by the way.
So, I mean,
unbelievable.
So I feel sorry for people who is, I mean, of course, they're probably feeling very sad and very hurt, but, it's just.
If you want to win, so many presidents have had a chance to win the Obama, Bush, Clinton, Trump, everybody's had the chance to win it. They haven't done it. Long-term plans with you. Any plans of you doing politics one day? You're young right now.
A lot of people asking me that because I remember, so whenever I get to the Boston Celtics, they were watching NBA TV, they were watching ESPN. I'm like, change that channel. Let's watch CNN. Let's watch Fox. Let's watch MSNBC.
Your interest.
So we'll keep watching that, and they were asking me, hey, do you ever thinking about becoming one day? I asked them, why not? I'm actually thinking about getting American politics one day.
I totally see it.
The sad thing is I'm not American born. But,
well, you can be a president, but once you become a citizen, you can definitely go do other things.
Yeah, for sure. So I am thinking about it, yes.
So what he does to Erdogan, you're going to become to U.S.
I will love it.
That would be interesting.
I will love it.
Brother, appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
this was a short time we had together, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for coming out. Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Take care, buddy. So different kind of a conversation, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of politics, a little bit of Turkey, Armenian genocide, a lot of different things. But if you enjoyed this topic, I got two other guests I want you to watch. One is a sit-down I had with Coach Calipari in front of a few thousand people. We talked about a lot of things with his career of recruiting, great storyteller. And the other one is with the one and only Kobe Bryant, which this interview led to a lot of dialogue in the NBA and the sports world. And again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.